Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of LinkedIn Live. I'm your host, Robbie Kelman-Baxter. Thank you for tuning in. This series features some of my favorite fellow LinkedIn learning instructors. We're going beyond the courses, talking about key skills that are required to thrive in today's environment. Please say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and let us know if you have questions or comments as we go through our conversation today. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about finding meaning in B2B sales, even in a down economy. Our goal is to tap into the positive outcomes we are helping our customers achieve as a means of both closing more business, but perhaps more importantly, connecting with our true purpose. This is an area my guest, Lisa Earle McLeod, has been studying for many years. She has a course on LinkedIn Learning called Purpose-Driven Sales, which is a great complement to my more straightforward B2B Sales Foundations course that many of you have already taken. Links to both courses for free will be posted in the comments by my assistant, Nat. Thank you, Nat. So please check them out. A little more about Lisa. She is the #4 sales expert in the world by Global Gurus. She is a strategy consultant, executive coach, and keynote speaker who's worked with clients including Salesforce, Roche, Google, LinkedIn, Hootsuite, Volvo, Dave & Buster's. She writes regularly for Harvard Business Review, for Forbes, and has about 1 million courses for LinkedIn Learning, many of which include her amazing daughter, Elizabeth, as well. She was also recently named to Marshall Goldsmith's #1 coaches as one of the top thought leaders and coaches in the world. Author of 5 books, including the global bestseller, Selling with Noble Purpose, and a great friend and inspiration to me as well. Welcome, Lisa.
Robbie, hopefully the click will work. There we go. And you and I have talked about this for a long time because we've known each other for quite some time. We knew each other as we developed both of our most popular books. So let's jump in.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So let's just jump right into the core question. So what does it take right now to thrive in B2B sales, generally speaking?
You have to be tethered to something bigger than your number. And you and I have talked about this a lot. When we think of B2B sellers, we tend to think of people who have great product knowledge, who have the discipline to go after longer term sales, because B2B sales tend to be bigger deals and longer sales. And all those things are true. But our research tells us that the best salespeople are tethered to the single concept of making life better for customers, which seems simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah, and it's hard to stay focused on that, I think, when you have a quota staring you down at the end of the quarter.
Right. And that's the thing in a lot of jobs that are salary jobs or even bonus jobs. You can focus on the long term. You can focus on what's in front of you. In sales, where you've got this quota that just feels so constant. And oftentimes we have our manager going, Robbie, have you closed any deals? Robbie, what's your pipeline look like? And so it's hard for us to get out of that. But what we know is if you tether yourself emotionally, psychologically to your number, you're going to have very inconsistent performance because you're going to rise and fall with your number. But if you tether yourself to this thing that we call noble purpose, to making a difference in the lives of your customers. And I don't mean just a nicey nice, pleasing them. I mean, if you're in a B2B sale, what you're selling has a positive impact on your customers, or you wouldn't have a company. Like you're not selling crack or cigarettes to children.
What's an example of a noble purpose, somebody that's driven by noble purpose, and what that might look like for a person in B2B sales, especially where you might feel like you're pretty far from noble purpose. You're selling, some kind of software
or something.
Refrigeration.
I'll give you 2 examples. So if you have clarity about what your software does for your customers, and we had a company that we worked with that sold accounting software. And so their first thought was, we make our customers' lives easier. Oh, that's nice. But that's not a super specific value proposition. One of the things we always say in our business is specificity is sexy. So when we started, that dirty we are.
We know what's sexy.
Yeah, specificity is sexy. Yeah, I see you people out there. And so one of the things that we did was with this client was we said, how does it make their life easier? And all kinds of personal things when it came out. They can go home at night resting easy. They can eliminate errors, which causes all this rework. Like it got really, really specific. And so you've got to have a sight line on customer impact. And it's very different. A lot of people say, we're going to be customer centric. And that's better than going, forget you customers. But often customer centricity is about pleasing customers. The meaning is found in making a difference to customers. And those are two very different things. Pleasing customers versus improving customers are two different things, because when you want meaning, the two keys to meaning, the two human needs are belonging and significance. Belonging, I'm part of something bigger than myself. Significance is my role matters. And so if I say I'm making customers' lives easier, that's good. But if I say I'm helping Robbie go home and sleep at night, that level of specificity, I'm going to show up so much better for that. And that's what's missing in most B2B sales is the specificity of the individual.
Yeah. Something that I do, and I don't know, I think you might do this too, but I put pictures up of people I work with. When I'm writing, I say I'm writing for this person. And that, I think, I hadn't really ever thought about that before, but it's that same thing. It's that specificity. This person has this problem, and I am working on solving that for and with them right now.
With them. Yeah. And I do that as well. I got that tip from Nancy Duarte years ago. And what I realized was the book I wrote for sales managers was very good. But the book, let me get my little self straight here. The book that I wrote over on this side right here, that I wrote for Steve Johnson, who was the CRO of Hootsuite at the time, that book was a lot better because I actually had a list of 5 people and he was one of them. And we did if Natalie wants to put a link to the Harvard Business Review article, How to Scale Your Sales Team, that mentions this one particular guy, Steve Johnson, but I had him and 4 other sales leaders, and that level of specificity made it so much better. And so what happens in B2B sales is we sit there in the sales meeting and we go, how many customers did we close? What was the revenue? What was the margin? How many more are we going to close? All that matters. But if we want to find meaning and we want our team to stay grounded during uncertain times, we need to say, how did one of those make a difference to a human? It's got to be that level of specificity. There's a reason on those charity ads why they tell you there's 10,000 hungry children. They're going to show you a picture of 10,000. They're going to show you one.
Yeah. Yeah. One is sometimes, and I think, just thinking about the people listening, people watching, one thing to try right now is, instead of saying, I got to figure out what's my noble purpose, what's that phrase, is to just say, I'm going to think about one person that I'm working on a sale to right now. And I'm going to really go deep with that one person and think to myself, how am I going to make their life better? Why does this matter to them? Why do they even, spend time on a Zoom call with me or let me come into their office? And I think that's a really good jumping off point for this, especially right now when it can be so hard to feel, I'll speak for myself, just feel motivated, right? This is a hard time. Customers are struggling, businesses are struggling. Things are, somewhere between down economy and chaotic economy. And I'm wondering, is there anything different that you advise people to do during a time like this?
Yeah. And I want to go back to something you said. When people talk about noble purpose, that it's, I'm pleased to say, after 10 years of, talking about it, it's become a catchphrase. People think they need the statement. And yes, we work with companies on the noble purpose statement. But to your point, if I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I got to sell something next week, don't get all bejungled about doing your statement and all that.
Is bejungled. Is that the 2023 word of the year?
That is.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was a great word.
That was my mother's word. They're all bejungled. I hope I haven't culturally appropriated or something, but we all know what I mean by it. And I have good intent. Your point, though, is I want to address the two things that you said. Number one, I want to validate, how can I make a difference to this person? How can I improve life for this customer? Focusing on the thing in front of you and that person, that's going to calm you, that's going to center you, and that's going to make you more likely to close the deal. I can show you all the research on that. But your point is, when there's uncertainty, do you do things differently? And the short answer is yes. The longer answer is, you have to double down on your psychological center. And because everything is pulling at you to buy into the idea that I can't do this, the economy's down, the uncertainty, the human brain hates uncertainty. And so when the conditions are truly uncertain around you, you have to double down on your psychological center, because everything's going to be pulling you the other way. Not to be too grandiose about this, but if you read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning and how he created a psychological center for himself in Auschwitz, I mean, come on, people. If he could do that, I think we can do the things that we need to do, which is, in reality, for most sales teams, unless you are the 90% market leader, a contraction in the economy or uncertain economic conditions don't need to contract your sales. Because as an individual seller, how much of the market were you really selling to?
Yeah, that is so important. It's like, you don't have to boil the ocean. You just have to help a few people close a few deals, keep your focus.
Right.
And by kind of maintaining your center, it's easier to not get sort of distracted.
Right.
Something I've been thinking about a lot, people talk so much now about meditation and being in the moment and mindfulness. And, something that's really helped me connect with mindfulness with work is, mindfulness is about being in this moment, not in the future where you're worrying, and not in the past where you're ruminating about what went wrong, but in the exact moment where you can really, and often they talk about, you can really experience, you can really enjoy, you can be fully present, which to me for a while sort of felt a little woo-woo. But then what I realized was, if you're in the future or the past, you're not actually getting anything done, because you're sitting at your desk thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not going to hit my number. Oh my gosh. Oh, and last quarter, and then I didn't close that, and I meant to call this person, and I didn't say the thing I meant to say. And all of that actually prevents you from being here now, but in seat doing your work. So,
yeah. And if you think about that person that you just described, imagine you and I are on a Zoom call and that person shows up and I'm the customer.
Right. And they're not there. They're afraid, and they're spinning, and they're not even concentrating, because they're not here. So they're not concentrating on me, which makes the meeting much less meaningful, useful, helpful, interesting.
It's the exact same dynamic that happens on a date, because humans are humans wherever we go. It's been a million years since I dated, but I recollect enough when that person is sitting there, and they may think you're the coolest thing ever. But if they're sitting there worried about the impression they're going to make, and worried about every word they say, and worried that you're not going to want a second date, they have increased the likelihood that they are going to get a second date, because you're not having that true emotional connection. Right. Again, humans are humans wherever we go. If I show up to the sales call, I'm worried, I'm upset, I got to close this deal. Oh my God, my manager's going to kill me. I'm not my best self. Park all that. As a woman who's been in business for a long time, I am an expert at bottling up and parking your emotions. So that's what you need to do, is park all that and ground yourself in, how can I make a difference to Robbie right now, right here? You're going to have a better sales call, much better sales call.
So how do you coach people? I know you were just on, you do some fabulous LinkedIns. I'll just do a little shout out for that. Some fabulous lives. You were talking this morning, and I caught the last little bit of it, about how do you motivate other people, right? Like, I'm having enough trouble staying focused. How do I motivate my team? How do I make sure that they're staying connected to their purpose? When the truth is, I'm worried about hitting my number, my team's number, my goals for my boss, for the org, for the investors, all of that. How do I,
So the good news is, you don't have to be fully grounded and confident to help other people get there. That's the good news, is because kind of like what Amy Cuddy said, you fake it till you become it. And I'm not talking about, putting up walls or anything. So the number one thing you can do for yourself and your team, you can do it together. Be honest. Say, yeah, the conditions are uncertain and I'm worried we're not going to hit our numbers. What I do know is every person that we sell to, we have a positive impact on. So Robbie, tell me about a sale that you made and what impact that's going to have on the customer. And I want to shout out that this topic is finding meaning in B2B sales. So the normal sales conversation would be, Robbie, tell me about a sale you made. And Robbie would go, and then there was all this competition, and then I got the deal over the line. And the story would be one or two things. The Robbie story about how great she is, which she is, so there's nothing wrong with that. Or the story about all the specs and how the customer implemented, which is helpful for everyone to hear. Those two stories are important. I'm talking about a third type of story. And this is the customer impact story, where Robbie says, they are going to create, I'll just use what I know that you do. They are creating a membership economy, to use the title of your book. They are creating a membership model that is going to help so many people and is going to impact so many employees. And it's really transforming their business. That's what this sale is going to do. When I start talking about the impact on customers, what that does is it resets the psychological center for the whole team. It says we're here to improve life for customers.
Yeah, I love that. And you brought up the membership economy, my first book, and a phrase that is used in a lot of different environments now, as so many organizations are moving to a member mindset. What that means specifically in B2B sales is focusing not just on today's transaction, but on the long-term relationship. So it's not enough that I can do something for them right now, but I'm thinking in 3 months, in a year, in 5 years, how will I continue to help them? And how will this purchase continue to help them? So it's not just about the acquisition, it's about those engagement benefits, right, and their longer term relationship.
And what we see when people do that, and it's interesting because you and I were in, for lack of a better word, a mastermind group when you were writing the membership economy. And I got the privilege of seeing you sort of spot that model, and that was like 10 years ago, and then bring it to life and codify it. And to your point, what we see on the sales side with salespeople is, if I have a sight line to how am I going to improve life for customers, I create a more holistic sale that is more competitive proof. Because if my sight line, if my manager's in my ear going, Lisa, close it, close it, close it. And managers are well-intended. I've been a sales manager saying that before, so no shame. We all got to meet our number. But if I've got a manager in my head saying, close it, close it, close it, I might close it. But if I have a manager in my head saying, how is this going to improve life for this customer? I'm going to go, who are the users? I probably need to talk to more than just the acquirer. I need to talk to some of the users. Oh, who are the people who will be the recipients of what this product is doing for the customer? So what happens is I close a bigger deal. I close a deal at a higher margin, and I close a deal that will be more successful on implementation. Because my sight line was not the transaction, getting the deal over the line. To use your language, my sight line was the forever on how are they going to use this? How is it going to affect them? And so all those things happen. It's difficult to have a sight line to that when we're in a quarterly capitalism model. But what we do know is that organizations who do that hold on to their customers longer, and they hold on to them at higher margins.
I love quarterly capitalism.
I don't know who coined that phrase, but I hope it drives a stake in Milton Friedman's cold, dead heart. I'm sorry. But the quarterly capitalism, the only purpose of a business is to return to shareholders. It's now come to full fruition. And we see nobody wins in that model, even shareholders. Why don't you just ask everybody who bought stock in Southwest Airlines?
Yeah. So I want to change gears a little bit. We have about 10 more minutes, and I wanted to change to a fun and light topic.
Rejection. I get so earnest and serious. Let's be fun and light.
No. I love it, and I think it's important, and I love that you brought that up. And the move of the Global Business Roundtable from shareholder being the number one
Right.
constituent to a group of constituents, shareholders, they call it stakeholders instead of
Yeah.
shareholders. So it's
Customers, employees. Yes. It was a
community.
great move.
And they're doing it not because they're good people, although maybe they are, but they're doing it because it's better for the shareholders. It's better for everyone.
The data shows companies with a purpose bigger than money who make improving life for customers, not just pleasing customers, improving life for customers as their true north, outperform the market by over 350%. Mic drop moment. Thank you, Jim Stingle, for that research. Now let's get fun.
Okay, so fun topic, rejection. Because I'm all about fun.
Right. Super fun.
So I've been thinking a lot about rejection, and I'm thinking a lot about failure. The hard times, resilience, all this is coming to mind, as you know, and we've talked about. I'm working on a course right now for LinkedIn Learning about bouncing back from a layoff. That is kind of the ultimate sales rejection, right? It's bad enough to have a client say no, but to have your boss say no and your company say no.
Right.
How do you find your purpose through line in rejection?
In rejection. So let's do it twofold. Let's do the first one when you lose a deal and you didn't get fired over it. So you lose a deal, it stings. So the first thing you need to do is give yourself permission to feel the feelings. Absolutely give yourself permission to feel the feelings because they need to be felt. People are afraid to go into it because they think that I'll fall into this deep depression. You need to be confident that you can feel the feelings and get over it. The second thing you need to do if you've lost a deal is remind yourself of the deals you won. After if you've wallowed in your sorrow and done empty carbs, gotten yourself a milkshake, whatever you need to do. Maybe if you're super healthy, you live in California, you went for a run, some mindfulness, whatever. But the second thing you need to do is remind yourself of the deals you won. And what you want to remind yourself of is not, I'm great, although I'm sure you are. What you want to remind yourself of is my work makes a difference. What we sell makes a difference. That'll give you the confidence to go for another day. And then the third thing that you want to do, this hurts, but you want to unpack why it failed. And the reason why a lot of people don't want to do that, I'm working on a piece for HBR right now about sales retrospectives. And a lot of people think, well, I don't want to prolong the pain, but it actually has the opposite effect. When you unpack why it went wrong and you might identify, daggone it, I didn't get to the users. When you identify why it went wrong, besides just, we were priced too high, that's an easy one to put off on someone else. But when you identify what you could have done differently, then you can change. Mm-hmm. If I think it just went south and the world is just random, then I'm just throwing the dice on the next one. And so this sales retrospective, most people don't want to do it, or when we do it, we blame the product offering, the competition, the pricing. But if you do a sales retrospective and you say, I could have gotten to more users, I could have framed this up differently, then you have confidence I can do it differently. So that's if you lose a deal. Yeah. Wallow in your feelings, tether yourself to this offering makes a difference. And the order is really important here. This is how we make a difference. And what could I have done differently? So then you're off to the races. So now let's talk about people getting fired. Harder. Yeah. That's harder. So I will tell you, I had been fired from a terrible job that I needed very much. That's the worst, when you really need the money and it was a terrible job. And they said, despite the fact this is a terrible job, we don't even think you can do it. So I've been fired from that.
Well, okay, first of all, side point, which is that the market for talent is an inefficient market, meaning that it's not like you have a value and wherever you go, people will be like, Robbie has this much value.
Right.
One company might say Robbie has this much value, and another company at the same moment might value me like this.
And that's why it's got to come from you, not the external source. And so one of the things that helped me, and I will tell you that my spouse has lost a job. And I'll also tell you, and I've written about this a lot, and you know this, we lost a business and went through a bankruptcy. So that feeling of sitting there in a darkened room, feeling like you have no future, it is a gut punch to your soul. It is really, really hard. So one of the things that really helped me was actually something from Good to Great, which Jim Collins wrote many years ago, and it was the Stockdale paradox. And the Stockdale paradox is be willing to face the brutal reality of where you are, face the facts. I lost my job. I don't have enough money. I might not be able to pay my kids' tuition. Like, face them. Like, don't try and shirk from them because they're sitting in there anyway. And the paradox of this, hold on to the faith that you will prevail. And I can't tell you how much that helped me. And again, I looked at Admiral James Stockdale, look it up. He could do this. He was the highest ranking officer in the Hanoi Hilton. So again, I'm like, okay, he's a POW and he can do this. Girlfriend, you can get through a bankruptcy. It can't be that big. You know, nobody's beating you every day. I think you can do this. But the recovering from failure, you've got to detach yourself. Again, face the brutal facts and hold on to the faith that you will prevail. You have got to decouple yourself, your soul, your spirit, who you are, your essence, from the events of the day. And if you look back in historically, there have been lots of people who were good and smart people who had bad events happen to them. So be realistic. If you lost a deal, if you got fired, maybe it was just we're letting go 20% and you were at the top of the alphabet. It could be really random. There could have been things that you could do differently. Be honest with yourself. But what you have to do, and this is so hard, and honestly, I think it's harder for men than women because they've attacked, our society has told them so much. You are your performance at work. You have got to decouple yourself from that. And so this duality of face the brutal facts and maintain the faith that you will prevail, if you've gotten fired, because you're also going to have a lot of time on your hands, you're also going to find out who your real friends are. Yeah, sorry about that. You have got to decouple yourself and who you are and your value as a human being from your job performance. And you got to look somewhere else. I am a good parent. I am a good friend. I did make a difference to a bunch of customers and I can do it again somewhere else. You got to decouple it from the moment. It's not easy to do, but again, people have done it in a POW camp, which is odd that that's come up twice. But that, to me, that always helps me. Like if they could do that then, surely I can do it in whatever I've got to deal with.
Right. And the other quote or example that I think about a lot is, Brian Stevenson talks about nobody is their worst moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That's not who you are. You aren't your worst moment. You had a worst moment.
Right.
But that's, again, it's like separating that is not you.
Right.
That is something you did. And you have the potential to do something different the next moment and the next moment.
And beating yourself up about your failure, making yourself feel worse does not help you do better. And again, there's a duality here. Be honest. If you look back and you go, I should have made more sales calls. I should have had more FaceTime. Be honest about what you did. But if you're honest and you name what you would do differently next time, then it gives you all this sense of agency and this sense of power. Otherwise, I have no sense of agency here. The world is what it is. So you're not beating yourself up, but you're being honest about maybe naming some things that you might do differently in the future. And once you name those, then you can do them differently. And how many people have been fired? Lots of people.
Many. Especially if you've been around a while.
Yes.
Fired, laid off, counseled out, quietly pushed to the side, had a shrinking quota.
Everybody that it's happened to and maybe I just know the people that rebounded. I'm sure there's some people that went into an alcoholic spiral and never recovered. That's not you. But there's lots of people, including me, including my husband, including Steve Jobs, that will all tell you that's the best thing that ever happened to me because I had to go deep and I came out so resilient.
Yeah, I love that. I think we're going to end on that note, giving our fabulous guest, Lisa Earle McLeod, the last word. We will be back in 2 weeks on February 15th with special February 15th.
That sounds right.
Yeah, we'll be back February 15th with our special guest, Scott Pollack, talking about business development, one of the jobs on the rise for 2023. Hope you join us then. In the meantime, thank you so much, Lisa Earl McLeod, for being such a spectacular guest and wonderful friend and coach advisor. See you all
Thanks.
soon.
So great to be with everybody.